So in this video, we're going to talk about my absolute favorite TV shows that I watched in 2022. I'm so excited. So if you have not, I did just post a video before this about my least favorite TV shows I watched in 2022. So if you want to know what I didn't like, you can go see that. But if you're looking for the more happy vibes, more positive about what we enjoyed this year, stay. Because this is going to be better. This is going to be me gushing and talking about the love for these TV shows. Okay, so I try to keep it to 10 TV shows for my favorites, but they were just, I couldn't keep it to 10. I added one more, and it made it 11 TV shows that were my favorites that I watched for this year. So I do apologize for that. I try not to go over 10, but unfortunately, I couldn't decide which one had to get cut out, so I decided to keep it 11. Hopefully, following, I will not do that, and I will keep the next year at 10. But let's get into my favorite TV shows of 2022. So the first show I'm going to talk about is My Name. This was actually, I think, the first TV show I watched this year. And let me say, it does not disappoint and is still one of my favorites of this year. And it was definitely something I didn't really expect to love this much. I was just, going through Netflix, trying to find a show. This popped up and it looked intriguing. And yes, it delivered. So basically the show is about a daughter and her dad gets murdered, and she finds out that her dad was murdered by a police officer. So she decides to get revenge and infiltrate the police station and try to find the officer that killed her father. This is a great revenge story, guys. It was so good. And there were certain directions I was like, okay, where is this going? I didn't know what was going to happen. That's why I liked it. It kept me on my toes. And I really did enjoy this show so much. It was a great revenge story. A lot of things happen, at least in my opinion, I did not expect. So that's why I loved it. I loved being caught off guard and not expecting what was going to happen in this show. But if you're looking for a great revenge story, it's not too long either, and it's on Netflix. You need to watch My Name. It is so good. So good. Highly recommend. I will recommend this till the end of my days because this is just such a great show. And they just did so well with it, doing the story and how the timeline of everything, and just so good. Loved it. Okay, this one you guys might know, might not be surprising, but Bridgerton. We're going to talk about Bridgerton season 2 actually, because everyone knows I'm obsessed with season 1. But we're going to talk about season 2 and absolutely love. They did great. Love season 2. If you want to check out my Bridgerton themed video, you can go check out that. I have a Bridgerton season 1 and season 2 review. You can go check out that. I have the Bridgerton books I reviewed versus TV show, read the whole series. I have a lot of Bridgerton content on this channel, so if you want to go see any of those, you can. And that obviously should tell you that I love Bridgerton season 2. So season 2 follows this oldest Bridgerton son, Anthony, and he is ready to settle down and get married. He wants to find a wife where he can become his viscountess and just help him, lead the family, take care of the family. He's not really looking for love. And he is kind of in a love triangle with these two sisters, Edwina, who's the diamond of the season, and then her older sister, who is dead set on not having her younger sister marry Anthony because he is not wanting to marry for love. So they're in this weird little love triangle, the three of them. And y'all, when I say the drama of season 2, so much drama. It was a slow burn. If you like enemies to lovers, if you like a slow burn, check this out. And it brought everything. They did great with this. It definitely does differ from the book if you have read the book, but I think they did very well with season 2. And I just love this show so much. If you love romance, if you like romance TV shows or movies, definitely check out season 2. I think you will enjoy it. Okay, my next show I'm going to talk about is Living Single. Y'all, this show, amazing. Absolutely love. This is another one I didn't think I would love as much as I do. Guys, I'm obsessed with this show. I kind of started watching a couple episodes again because it was just so good. So good. So this show, Living Single, follows these group of friends living in New York City, and they just have a great time. We follow it's four four yeah, four actresses and two male actors within the show, and we see them all interact. We see relationships form, friendships, all those type of things. And it's really cool to see. I really, really love this show so much. It's a great comedy. So if you need a new comedy to watch, go to this. This is, I believe, a 90s sitcom. And I was going, I was watching it, seeing if the jokes would still hold up, it would still be funny in this day and age. And it was, y'all. It was still hilarious. I was laughing every time. If I needed a pick me up, I would put this show back on and watch a couple episodes, and I just felt great. I was casually watching it throughout the first couple months of the year, and it was just amazing. It was definitely a show I will continuously recommend. A show I think everybody should watch. It's a great, great comedy. I feel like you can watch over and over again. And it took me by surprise. I didn't know I would love it as much as I would, and it was awesome. See, if you're looking for a new comedy in your life, check out Living Single. I highly recommend it. It is literally the best thing. I'm probably going to be rewatching it over and over and over again. So good. Okay, my next show will be Abbott Elementary. Guys, I absolutely love this show. It's a new comedy, so if hopefully you guys have heard of it, but if you haven't heard of it, Abbott Elementary follows these teachers and a school in Philadelphia, and I believe it's like a low income school. They don't really have the best of everything, but they try to make do what they have in Philadelphia, and it is so funny. I compare it to The Office. It reminds me of that. Even though there are other mockumentaries out there, just some of the dynamics of characters reminds me of The Office and some of the characters on there. So that's why I say if you like The Office, this might be a show that you would like. I love this show. So I watched the first season in the beginning of the year on Hulu. So good. And then the second season started to come out. And I was like, well, I need to watch all these episodes. So I'm currently watching the second season as it is currently still airing. I have teachers who are family and friends, and I asked them about this show, and they are like, yes, this show is like very relatable to what they have to go through. It just takes a funny spin on it. And I'm glad that teachers actually find this show amusing as well. So I think that's really cool. But I really do love this show so much. If you're honestly another great comedy. If you're looking for a good comedy that's new, that's current, something you can watch now, definitely go check out Abbott Elementary. It's one of our newer comedy, and it hits, y'all. And I highly recommend this one. So the next show that I'm going to be talking about is Mad for Each Other. And I'm probably going to be saying this a lot throughout this video, but this took me by surprise, and I loved it more than I thought I would. And this show is so good. It's a great show. Okay, so basically this show is about two different people, and they happen to be neighbors, but they don't really know that right away. And they keep running into each other, and every time they run into each other, they just like have some type of altercation with each other, like they're arguing or something. So they're not getting along. They do not like each other because every time they run into each other, something bad happens to one of them or both of them. So they're not having it. And then they find out they're neighbors and like, no, I need to get away from this person. But we see them, they're first enemies, then friends, then lovers. Great, great show, guys. It's so good. There is a comedy aspect to this show, but there's also a seriousness to it as well. They both are dealing with certain things. Like there's part of the show where they're going to talk to like, I believe it's a therapist. It might be a psychiatrist. I don't remember. So excuse me for my mistake, but they go to talk to someone, and they're both working through certain things. So there is some seriousness to this show, but there is comedy in the way they mix the comedy up in there. I absolutely love it. This is also a short show, so you can definitely watch this one in a weekend, but I love this show so much. I love these two characters the most and how they interact with each other, and just seeing their relationship grow and their bond, and seeing what happens and how they kind of learn more about each other, and they're like, okay, maybe this person isn't so bad. And they definitely do help each other out as well. So I really, really enjoyed this show and watching these two people. And a show reminding me of what It's Okay to Not Be Okay. So if you like that, maybe you'll like this. It kind of gave me, I think Mad for Each Other has more comedy in it, but maybe if you like It's Okay to Not Be Okay, you'll like this. Okay, my next show, The Umbrella Academy season 3. Y'all, I loved it. I love Umbrella Academy, first of all, so I just assumed I would like the third season. And I did. I loved it. I heard some people didn't like it this season as much, but I actually liked it the most. In the previous seasons, the siblings start when they're separated. This was the first season where they start where they're all together and they're not separated at first. So I like that. Some of the things I didn't love about the first two seasons was the like pacing and how we had to like wait for them to all finally come together. Even though it's a great show, I love it. But in this third season, you didn't have that anymore, so they were originally all together at once. So I really like that. So yeah, I really love season 3 so much. I just love these siblings, and I think just seeing them all together and how they interact is just so funny. And I love the comedy that it brings to this like superhero-ish type show. It's really, really fun. But yeah, Umbrella Academy is basically about these siblings who all have special powers, and they're all adopted by this man at a very young age, and he basically trains them to become superheroes and save the world. So yeah, that's basically the show, and I love season 3. The Sparrow Academy, it was okay, didn't hate it, but there's a certain character in there I did love, and so I'm interested to see what happens in season 4 because it kind of left off on a little cliffhanger on a new place. So we'll see what happens. But I love Umbrella Academy. It's a great show. Like me and my sister, every time it comes out, we love watching it together. It's a good show. It's funny and it has some action in it. So if you look like a good sibling dynamic, maybe you'll like this show. If you like superhero shows, maybe try this one out. But I really do enjoy the Umbrella Academy. I can't wait for season 4, and I know it's the final season, so I'm really upset about it, but I'm really excited to see how they wrap everything up. I think this is a great show, and I can't wait to see what happens. Okay, the next one is Stranger Things. Like, how could that not be on my top of the year? Y'all, when I said they went to another level, they went to another level. I did do a review on this one, so if you want to see my full thoughts, go see that. But this season was so good. What I didn't like about it is they were all separated for a long time, so I hate that. But it wasn't terrible. Like, I like seeing the storyline. Some TV shows, when they separate characters and make them come back, it can be agony and they drag it on for so long. But I think they did pretty well with Stranger Things, with certain characters being separated from each other. But yeah, I loved this season of Stranger Things so much. It was so good. They brought it to like a whole nother level. Like, y'all, it was like straight up horror. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for horror. But it was good. They had new villains. Like, it was definitely on another level. I feel like the intensity and just how they did the show was just bigger and a lot more at stake. And they added some new characters which people loved. And ooh, guys, I cried. It's a tearjerker. Like, things happen. But everything that I wanted in a show, they do right in Stranger Things. Like, they added a couple new characters here, and you feel for those characters by the end of the season. And I'm just like, the way you guys are like just telling the story and going on with this timeline of these characters and just weaving them in and out so that they all work, it's just so good. Like, it's just such a good show. I absolutely love it. I love the show. I can't wait till the next season. I believe the next season is also the final season, so I'm wondering how they're gonna wrap it all up and what's gonna happen. I'm scared they're gonna kill off some people that I love, so I'm a little nervous, but we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for the next season of Stranger Things. And yeah, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, what are you doing? How the show starts is that there's these group of kids, and they're kind of like misfits and outcasts. And one of the kids in the group named Will gets kind of like taken to the upside down, and it's like their world but in another dimension, kind of. So they're trying to figure out how to get him back, and along the way throughout these seasons, they discover more about it. There's new villains, there's new people, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And this last season was the biggest. So I'm interested to see what happens next. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch. If you're into sci-fi, this is a show for you. You need to go watch it. It's like so good. Okay, the next show is Rain or Shine. This is an emotional show, y'all. So emotional. And I think that's why I liked it so much, because if a show can make me feel so deeply, I really do enjoy it. I am a natural crier, so, you know, maybe it's a little bit easier for me to cry at some TV shows, but I really do think Rain or Shine is really good. There was a live love triangle I did not love in the show, but I got over that because the show overall was great. But Rain or Shine follows these people who were affected by a building collapse. So years ago, there was a mall, the building collapsed, and there were some of these people that are affected were in the collapse. Some of these people lost someone who was in the collapse. So we kind of followed them after, because years later, there's another, so years later where the collapse happened, they want to build another building there. And so there's a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of emotions coming up when this begins to happen, when people want to build where a lot of people had lost their lives. So we get to follow the different people who are affected by this situation and see how they're dealing with it, what happened then, and how it's still affecting them and their families now. So it was really sad to see. And we see a couple of them interact with each other and how they kind of help each other and go through what they're currently going through. So yeah, I really did enjoy this show. It was just the emotional ride it took me on. It does, like, I guess you can kind of consider this a romance because it does center around two main people, and these main people were affected by this collapse, so we get to see their journey and what happens to their families. But it does show you some other people as well, so I guess if you want to check out the show, I do want to let you know it is mainly romance, but there's a lot of things that happen, that the emotions that just going around with this tragic event that happened to these people, and it was very, very good. The emotion, just like, you just felt so deeply for what these people had to go through and just like how they were affected by this, and it was just so sad, and I felt for all of them, and I think they did very, very well in the show for making me feel for these characters. There's one character I didn't love, but other than that, I really enjoyed hearing their stories and what they were going through. So my next show is an anime, and I believe it's the only anime I watched this year. I don't really watch anime. I'm trying to get into it little by little, and so I'm trying to watch a few shows here and there. So this show I watched was called Erased, and y'all, I really liked it. So Erased is about this guy, and he kind of can time travel, but he can't really control it. So basically so he'll go about his day, and then kind of like a deja vu, like if something happens and then it goes back in time and happens the exact same, he knows something's wrong, something's gonna happen, and he has to save someone. So when he goes back in time, it's usually like 5 minutes, like a couple minutes. So if something happens and like he goes back a couple minutes, he's like, okay, I gotta figure out what's happening. And he tries to figure out what's different. He tries to see what's gonna go wrong, and then save the person or stop a certain event from happening. So I thought that was really cool. And basically something happens in his life currently, and then he goes all the way back to when he was like a little kid, and he doesn't really know why he's going all the way back, but it turns out when he was little, some of his classmates had disappeared and I believe were murdered. So he ends up going all the way back time before that when they were all alive, and tries to figure out how to save them this time around since he has a second chance. And he's never gone back this far in his life ever, so this is so new to him. So he's trying to, like, with his adult brain, trying to figure out how to save his classmates and these people in his life. So it was really cool show to see what was happening, trying to figure out what was going on, and how he figures out how he tries to save people when he's like a young kid. So yeah, it was very interesting, kept me on my toes, and I liked it. I did kind of guess who it would be kind of early on, like I had little inklings, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I did kind of see some things, even though I didn't know exactly, but I kind of thought or had some suspicion on the person. I did enjoy watching the rest of the show. So I would suggest if you're into like mystery or like murder mystery, check this show out. It's really good. Okay, the next show, y'all, Business Proposal. Love this show so much. I believe this is also a show I kind of watched in the beginning of the year. And y'all, love. If you have not watched this show, watch it. It's a K-drama. It's a romance K-drama. But this deals with like, it has the fake relationship aspect in it. So if you like a little fake relationship action going on, this is the show for you. Y'all, this is a K-drama. So good. So basically what happens is this girl, her best friend is like forced to go on these blind dates with these guys because her father wants her to find a match. This girl's tired of it. So she sometimes asks her friend to go for her, and like she's like, can you go for me and like ruin the date? So basically her friend's like, yeah girl, I got you. Like what are friends for, right? So her friend's on this date with this guy, and everything that she usually does is not working. Like this guy is still interested and want to date her, and she's like, and this is not good for her friend because this guy thinks she's her friend, and her friend like, nah. Later this girl finds out that the guy she went on a fake date with is her boss. So she's trying to, it's just a whole mess, but it's so hilarious that she's like going on a fake date to help her friend, and then turns out that date was with her boss, and now her boss is like, well, can you actually help me and fake date with me? And this is where the journey begins, y'all. We love this show. It's so good. If you like fake dating, so cute. It's adorable. And not just the main couple, there's a secondary couple. I'm not gonna lie, I was shipping them harder than the main couple. Like, loved. And I want a season 2. Like sometimes, when a K-drama happens, you're like, okay, that ended nicely. No, I want another season because I need to see both of these couples continue on in their lives. Like I want more. It was so good. So I really love this show so much. It's so cute. It's funny. It's adorable. It's a cute little romance. So if you're looking for like feel good vibes, if you're looking for some romance, definitely check out this show. It is meant for you. It's so good. Loved. And the last show, the 11th show I added to this, Julie and the Phantoms. Guys, I was really surprised how much I liked this. And I liked it so much it made it onto my favorites, guys. So this is kind of like a teen show. Julie and the Phantoms is about a girl. She played the CD one day, and then these ghosts appeared, and they were guys that were in a band. And every time that they play together, people can see them. So when they're not playing, only she can see and hear them. But when they play with her, anyone can see and hear them. It's so weird, right? But it works. It is such a good TV show. And it's by the infamous Kenny Ortega. So how can it not go good? How can it not be good? He is amazing. How does he just keep pushing out all this content and make it all great? He has talent. He has talent, y'all. But the one thing I didn't love about this, that it ended on a cliffhanger and only has one season. Y'all, when that ended, I was like, no. Because I had heard so I had a friend recommend this to me, saying, you're going to love it. It's so good. And I was like, sure. Then I watched it and I was like, okay, this person was right. It was really good. And I knew it only had one season, but I didn't know it ended like that. And now I know why there's an outcry for more. Like, can you give me a second season, please? It was so good. The music was great. Of course, Kenny Ortega, love him. But the music was great. I really did enjoy this show a lot. I was like expecting, because it is for like, a teen show, younger show, like a Disney Channel-esque type of show. So I was expecting not to really, I'm like, okay, it's probably going to be okay. But y'all, it was really good. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, he makes this like movies and TV shows, and anyone can really enjoy it. Like, if you want to sit down and watch this with a family, you could do that. It's good for all ages. It's such a good show. And the music, y'all, great. I was literally on Spotify listening to this soundtrack like over and over again. They had a lot of good songs in there. So yeah, I love Julie and the Phantoms. If you want a show that has like High School Musical vibes, but modern, like more like newer, check this one out. Like the concept seems a little weird. That's one reason I was like, this is okay. Like it's gonna be okay. I was hesitant. I'm like, this girl sings with ghosts, but it's actually a really good show, and it deserves a second season. Like, come on, y'all, can we get this a second season, please? I just need one more to like wrap it up nicely, please. Okay, guys, so those are my favorite shows from 2022, and I love them. There are a lot of other shows that were good. They just weren't my favorites, and I just didn't love them. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed watching all of these shows. And I think a lot of them, they just surprised me, and I probably set my expectations lower, and I was just so surprised, and like, these are just so good, which is literally the complete opposite of my least favorite, because I think my expectations were too high, and they just did not meet them. So, it is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about and gush about my favorite TV shows I watched this year. Are there any on this list that you also enjoyed watching? Maybe you didn't see them this year, maybe some another year, but anything on here that you really, really do enjoy. So yeah, I'll put some video reviews, some blog posts I did for these TV shows for you guys to go check out. If you want to, just a little bit more about them, you guys can go check that out. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the season and year. And until next time, bye.